Chapter 3. Echoes of the Past Part 1. The Sanctum. The cavern Grimlock led me to was unlike anything I'd seen in the Undercity so far. As we stepped through a narrow fissure in the rock, the rough-hewn walls gave way to smooth, polished stone. Intricate runes carved into every surface glowed with a soft, pulsing light, bathing the chamber in an ethereal blue glow. "By the nine hells," I breathed, my eyes wide as I took in our surroundings. "What is this place?" Grimlock's expression was solemn, almost reverent. "This, lad, is one of the last remaining sanctums of the Founders, the very mages who created the key of eternity." I turned slowly, drinking in every detail. At the center of the chamber stood a circular dais, upon which rested a pedestal of white marble. Floating above it was a shimmering hologram of Quandaria, not as it was now, but as it must have been centuries ago, its spires reaching impossibly high into a sky, unmarred by the smog of progress. "How did you know this was here?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. Grimlock stroked his beard, his eyes distant. "I've spent decades exploring these tunnels, lad. Found this place years ago, but could never get inside. The wards were too strong." He patted his pocket meaningfully, but with a piece of the key. As if on cue, the fragment in Grimlock's pocket began to glow, visible even through the fabric. The runes on the walls pulsed in response, and I felt a surge of magical energy that made the hair on the back of my neck stand up. "Right," I said, shaking off my awe and focusing on the matter at hand. "So we're here. What now? I doubt this place, impressive as it is going to solve all our problems." Grimlock chuckled, moving towards the central pedestal. "Always in a rush, you surface dwellers. This sanctum holds knowledge, lad. Knowledge that might just save our skins. And all of Quandaria to boot." He pulled out the key fragment and held it up to the hologram of the city. The effect was immediate and dramatic. The image flickered and expanded, filling the chamber with a three-dimensional map of Quandaria, past and present, overlaid. Points of light pulsed at various locations throughout the city. The other fragments, I realized, counting quickly. There are 6 more. Grimlock nodded, his eyes gleaming with excitement. "Aye, and now we know where to start looking." I frowned, studying the map. Something wasn't quite right. Wait a minute. These locations, they're not static. They're moving. The dwarf's bushy eyebrows shot up in surprise. "What? But that's impossible. The fragments were hidden, sealed away." "Well, it looks like someone's been unsealing them," I muttered, watching as one of the lights meandered through the streets of the upper city. "And I'll bet my last gold piece that our friends from the Veiled Hand and the Guardians aren't far behind." Grimlock's expression darkened. "This is worse than I feared. If all the fragments are in play..." He didn't need to finish the thought. We both knew what it meant. A race against time, with the fate of Quandaria hanging in the balance. I was about to suggest we start planning our next move when a sound echoed through the chamber, footsteps approaching fast. "Impossible," Grimlock hissed, his hand going to a weapon hidden in his voluminous beard. "No one should have been able to follow us here." I drew my wand, positioning myself between the entrance and Grimlock. Seems like impossible is becoming a habit on this case. The footsteps grew louder, and then a figure burst through the entrance, a figure I recognized all too well. "Lyria?" I gasped, momentarily lowering my wand in shock. My mysterious client stood before us, her black eyes gleaming in the ethereal light of the sanctum. But she looked different now. Gone was the air of otherworldly calm. Her hair was disheveled, her clothes torn and singed in places, and in her hand she clutched what could only be another fragment of the key. "Mr. Blackthorn," she said, her melodious voice strained, "I'm afraid I haven't been entirely truthful with you." I barked out a laugh, unable to help myself. "You don't say. Care to start now? Perhaps with how you managed to track us to a secret sanctum hidden deep beneath the city." Lyria's eyes flicked to the amulet I no longer wore, and understanding dawned on her face. "Ah, so you discovered the amulet's true nature." I had hoped. "That I'd lead you straight to the key fragment?" I finished for her, my voice hard. "Sorry to disappoint." Grimlock stepped forward, his eyes narrowed suspiciously. "Who are you really, lass? You're no ordinary collector." Lyria straightened, and for a moment I caught a glimpse of something ancient and powerful in her eyes. "No," she agreed. "I am not. I am the last of the Guardians of the Seal, sworn to protect the key of eternity from those who would misuse its power." I felt a headache coming on. Great. Another secret society, just what this case needed. But before Lyria could explain further, a tremor shook the sanctum. Dust rained down from the ceiling, and the runes on the walls flickered ominously. "They're coming," Lyria said, her voice tight with urgency. "The Veiled Hand. They've found a way to track the fragments directly." Grimlock cursed colorfully in Dwarven. "We need to move. Now." I looked between Lyria and Grimlock, my mind racing. "Wait. The map. If we can somehow copy it, take the information with us." Lyria's eyes widened in understanding. She stepped to the pedestal, holding out her key fragment alongside Grimlock's. The hologram pulsed brightly, and I felt a surge of magic. "It's done," she said. "The map is imprinted in our fragments. We can access it anywhere now." Another tremor, stronger this time. Small stones clattered to the floor. "Time to go," I said, already moving towards the exit. "I don't suppose either of you has another one of those handy teleportation globes." Grimlock shook his head grimly. "Used my last one getting us here." "Then we do this the old-fashioned way," I said, gripping my wand tightly. "We run." As we dashed out of the sanctum and back into the twisting tunnels of the Undercity, I couldn't shake the feeling that we were running towards something far more dangerous than what we were leaving behind. The hunt for the Key of Eternity had begun in earnest.